And hello and welcome, giving you permission to choose you. Here, Tracy Noriega paying it forward to you with the beautiful Kat Smith of Guided Open. I am so happy and honored to have her on this beautiful online retreat. Ladies, I hope you took my cue from the email to have a cup of cacao if you have a real one, or even just a nice hot chocolate, or just a tea or something, because this is getting cozy and really talking about all that beauty within that you have, and that is accessible to you. And Miss Kat Smith here has shown me that. For years I've known her, and she's led beautiful women's groups where, yes, we just come together and just share our stories and our just ourselves authentically and beautifully and unabashedly. And it's been beautiful. And now she has come on this full journey to bring cacao as a ceremony. And thank you, Kat, for joining me.
My absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me. Thank
Oh
you.
my goodness. Yes, it's so great. So Kat has, I mean, she's been on journeys amongst journeys. She's in Australia, so I can kind of say you've done that walkabout. You've had quite a walkabout. Um, so for the ladies out there who are feeling, because Kat here is a mother as well, and what I guess would you say, having yourself been through just this last year, the pandemic and everything that's gone on in Australia, had the fires as well. So, I mean, there's been quite a few things that you've endured, and then your daughter, coming of age and moving out on her own and all of that. Yeah, I mean, you've become a empty nester. Some people would say
Yeah.
a purpose nester now. So what would you like to share with those ladies out there, knowing what they've been through and giving them a positive message just to start this off?
Oh, wow. Wow, you've already got me tearing up, Tracy.
No.
So beautiful that you're putting this together. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. And I'm sure everyone is going to just get that little bit of extra light shone in their hearts from this session. I just feel it. Yeah, I mean, it's been a hell of a year, right?
And it
And we've all
continues.
been dancing. Yeah, and it continues. We've all been dancing with all the things. My message, if there was one, let's see. Oh, immediately there's the breath. You can notice that that's just what happens when we pay attention.
Yeah.
We're always back to the breath. And actually, maybe I'll share with you a beautiful metaphor that's been coming in for me recently. And that is that our lives are like days at the beach where we are jumping the waves. Remember when you were little and you'd go to the seaside and the waves are rolling in and you're jumping the waves and you're jumping the waves, and here's another wave of life, something else that bumps you. And sometimes you're steady on your feet and other times not so much. Sometimes the waves are bigger than others. Sometimes they're beautiful, fun little ripples, and other times you have to ground yourself, lock your knees. And then sometimes there is a set. Any of the surfers in the room will know what I mean. There's those waves
Yeah.
that come and they completely knock you off your feet. And we've all had waves like that. And I know this year has been full of waves like that, just absolutely toppling us. We don't know which way is up. We certainly don't know where our breath went.
As we hold it, right?
Yeah, there's that sense of desperation that, yeah, can you feel that? So this is such a metaphor for the year. It's like, well, what then? And my offering is that in situations like that, you really do only have one option, and it's a beautiful lesson, and it is to surrender. To surrender, because life will float you to the top of the wave. And it's my belief, in fact, that actually the waves are all an illusion anyway, and it's very possible that you can breathe underwater and surrender. Just surrender to the beautiful experience of being knocked, because we've all been doing it. Yeah.
Well, I love that metaphor because it's something actually my mom had shared with me early on. She would take us to the beach. That was one of her favorite places for her to do. You know, I didn't grow up with meditation. There was just prayer, right, in church, and sometimes you'd see him. But she would sit at the beach and be very quiet and look out and sometimes be crying. And I'm like, what's wrong? And she's like, no. And she would breathe with the waves. And she would just tell me, she goes, I go to the beach because it reminds me of how life is. There'll be high tides and there'll be low tides. And like how you were saying, there'll be times where the waves are just big and gigantic and you don't want to get in there. And there's other times when it's nice and tranquil and, you know, it's beautiful. And it could be a stormy day, a beautiful sunny day. And it's just how it is. So you sharing that just like totally brought back my mom and that lesson learned. But when you said surrender, I mean, I understand that now and, you know, even have it here tattooed on my arm to remind myself to surrender. But I know when I first heard that, I was like, and I'm sure there's some women out there going, what is surrender? How? I've got the kids to pick up. They've got school to do. I've got to, you know, clean the house, you know, blah, 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 and all of this stuff. What does she mean by surrender? How am I supposed to find serenity in surrender? And how do I even practice like what does that mean when I have, as we know, as women, so much doing? I have so many things to do that I don't have time to just surrender. What would you say? And how do you help them? I know because you've been on that journey too, Kat. I only
so relate to that. I know. I just had a reflection of like hearing myself even 5 years ago. I would have been like, "Who's this crackpot?" She must have a whole beautiful, amazing, peaceful life.
Yeah.
And
Does she have a maid? Does she have a nanny?
exactly. Not fair. So I get that.
Yeah.
I've certainly been there. Oh God, what would I say? Good one. Well, oh man, let's see. There's a couple of things coming in for me. One is that surrender and serenity are definitely not the same thing. Surrender doesn't always feel peaceful. If it's not about peace or love or any of the things that we're going after and we strive for, it's about being okay with what is. You know, like when that tidal wave knocks you out, it's about being like, okay with what is, or it's out of our control. And can I be with that? Can I just be with it without reacting? One of the ways I got this in the very beginning was giving attention to and practicing what my senses, coming into my senses. And I'll tell you this, I'm sure that the women on this watching this will appreciate this. One of the very first things I used to do was actually in the shower practice. I mean, I think at the time I was calling it mindfulness, but I probably wouldn't say that anymore. Just practice being in my body experience while the water was washing over it. So hopefully, and I know this isn't always true, but hopefully you have the shower to yourself. Mom. But you can just take, whilst you're in the shower, come and breathe, notice your breath, notice what the water feels like on your skin. Is it hot? Is it cold? What do your feet feel like? Maybe maybe you've got half a chance to just give your feet an extra rub.
Yeah.
And just notice, because it's in that noticing that things actually do shift. I'm sure, I mean, you would have heard this 1,000 times, Tracy, but noticing. And I remember hearing this to say, similar to surrender, like, what am I noticing? That doesn't, for me, the voice, my mind says, oh, notice what? And what does that do? Well, every time that you notice that you are in your human body experience, you're moving pieces of sand from one pole to the other and deconditioning your experience. So you're just basically shedding your crap in just the noticing. So any little, I also used to put little pop-ups on my phone that would just remind me, just like, what am I seeing right now? What am I hearing right now? What am I feeling right now?
Yeah.
Breathe. And over time, and over not much time, that sounds so simple, but it's the simple things. that really make the biggest difference. So yeah, that would be 101, and it works. I still do that to this day, believe me. Whew.
Well, and I love that you bring that up about the breath and the body and the shower, because one of the things I do in the shower, and since we're just being ladies here, tell me what we do in the shower. But one of the things I do is I do a gratitude, because how many times do we thank our body for everything it does every day? Right? And we don't. And so for me, it's a chance. It's an opportunity when I'm washing also, because, you can get in there and go, okay, go through it real fast. Cause I got 5 minutes, and if you've got kids, they're like, who knows what they're getting into depending on their age. Right. But there's the part too, where it's like, if you do have the moment and they're taken care of, is going from head to toe and just like feeling every part of it and breathing and saying, thank you, hair, thank you, skin, thank you, ears that I can hear. Like, I'll go down, and, since being in healthcare, I'll even see if I can remember the bones and even saying about the arteries and the venules and my spleen, and just like, because they're doing something for us all the time, every day. And it just takes like people don't think about it. It takes one red blood cell or one enzyme or something to be thwarted, and it screws up the whole thing, and it's just one part of all of when you think of it, you're actually like a universe, all your universe within yourself. So for me, that's a time too. And so ladies, if you'd like to do that and combine the two of feeling the water over you, but then, while you're washing, just saying thank you to all of those parts of you that do everything. Cause it only takes like, you bust your toe, your tiny toe, and you bruise it, and it's like, oh my God, I can't walk. Put your shoes on, all the things that you can't do because that one tiny toe. So it's saying thank you for everything every day that we take for granted. So another way to connect. So you have a beautiful community that is why I asked you to come, because there's the growing knowledge of cacao. And I know just as much as people keep seeing it, doesn't mean that they actually know about it. And while, my initial was, well, I know cacao, I look for how much is percent in my chocolate that I'm buying because I like the bittersweet. So mine must have 60% or more cacao. But we're talking about something that's actually even more so, like it's like, and I'm sure some women would agree to me, I mean, chocolate to me is like a goddess. Like, there are times when I know she is the only thing that at this moment is going to soothe my soul, along with a glass of red wine. But there is, and I've come to some of the ceremonies that you've had, or just the meditations with the cup of cacao, and that's where you can find that peace. That's where you can find that serenity. That's where you can find that breath and just kind of go within. And I would love you to really educate the ladies about what it is and what it means and what you provide in your community to make that happen.
Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. What fun. I feel to just share a little bit of how I came to even drink cacao first, if that's okay with you.
Oh, that would be beautiful. Sure.
That's like the thing that, because I just have this sense of like, so the first time that I heard of cacao, or the first time I drank it, I felt like this is the stupidest thing.
I would not expect you to say that.
I know. Well, it's true. My mind was just like, this is weird. I mean, it's weird. We're sitting in a circle and we're drinking chocolate, and we're like, what are we expecting to happen here? Like, come on, let's be real. That is exactly that's how it was to me. I had been doing personal development work since my teens, and it was about 7 years ago that I first drank cacao, and I had done all the things. I have done all the things, all the seminars, and I had trained as a facilitator in some really epic stuff. And I had done Vipassana and transcendental meditation and like you name it, basically. I read all the books, all the, I was just on the full mission. I was throwing myself off personal development cliffs and facing my fears, like, honestly, crazy. And also I'd had my own, and you've heard this before, Tracy, I'm sure, dozens of times now. I had been on my own actual experiential journey. Like, my life has not been a breeze. I had all of the trauma of the trauma childhood, and I'll go into that if we want to. But for right now, I'll just say it was tough. And I had a lot of work to do. A lot. I mean, gosh, let me just be real about it. I had no idea what life was about. I was surviving. I was traumatized, anxious, depressed, surviving. The word that resonates the most when I speak about this is that I felt trapped. I felt like, what is the point of this? I was just always trapped and fighting for the next thing, or the next breath, or the next thing my kids need, that was the state that I was in. And I was trying. And when I look back on my little self, I'm like, oh, I tried so hard to find the thing. I did. I pushed myself so hard. I went into I did all the things from this place of, I fucking need help. I did all of the things. So I also just feel to add, if anyone knows, so human design is something that has come into my world the last 18 months. And if anyone knows anything about human design, just so you know, I'm a 4/6 manifester. And basically that paints a picture, if you know human design, of that first part of our lives being horrible. Having to learn every lesson the hard way, basically. So that was me. Woo. And like I said, I got to this point where I had actually become very successful, and the kids were in their teens and things were doing really well. And I knew all of the things, and I was coaching, and I was helping people to know all of the things. And I was like spreading the word, and that I had gotten to a place. And I still didn't know what the hell the point was, honestly. Like, I'd reached.
So I want to ask you, did you have that feeling of, because I mean, there's women out there, and I've been in these women's groups and I hear it and I feel it too. And I've felt it. I mean, I've shifted in my journey because of it. Sort of like, I did all this. I did it. I did it. I got it. I attained it. So why don't I feel fulfilled?
Yes. I was literally still waking up in the morning crying.
Oh.
Like, just going, what? Or I was still like, on a 6-weekly rotation or whatever, finding myself not getting out of bed, like just still having a really massive big doubts and bouts of depression. Or this is one of my favorite ones I hear all the time, which was totally me, finishing the day and just like being in front of the tally and just going, and not even, I'm too tired to go to bed. I just can't even get myself. I can't even get myself into a position of doing the right thing for me. Like, I know I need to go to bed, and I freaking can't get off the couch. I'm still in my clothes, and I wake up in the morning in my clothes on the couch. Like, and I had everything from the outside totally sorted. My life looked amazing. And so, yeah.
Yeah, and think of how many people aren't getting out of their clothes or out of their bed because they've got to work from home. And I mean, I've heard how many people have watched how many TV series in this amount of time, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. I used to just feel like staring at the wall. Like, everything was just still so overwhelming. And so, of course, then I was giving myself a whole lot of shit about that, because I'm in this position of, I knew everything. I had literally, like, there's nothing I didn't know about the human condition, and about meditation, and about not knowing what you don't know, and about all of the concepts, all of the personal development concepts. So yeah, I mean, it's vulnerable for me to say this, because it's like, I should have known, is what the voice says.
But I think that's reassuring because us as women, we go out to look for the solutions. I mean, that's what we do, right? We find the solutions. Our kids need something, this needs that. I mean, whether or not you have, a man in the home or another partner to help you with, you go and you look for it. And then you do know, well, I'm educated and I know this and I've been through that program and I should know better. I find myself shoulding all over me myself, right? And it's just like, well, Tracy, but why can I not find that within? Like, and why do I still feel like I'm not connected to anything? Like you were saying, it's like, what's the point of all of it?
Yeah. There's another piece too that I feel to speak into, and that is that, like, I knew so much that I knew how to pretend really well.
Mm.
Like I was so, I'll give you an example. I had studied so deeply how to be confident that I would feel not confident, and then I would put my shoulders back and I would breathe deep and I would lower my voice a little bit and I would make really good eye contact and I would like stand staunch, I'd be like, I would embody confidence, and everyone around me thought I was confident, but inside I was screaming.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a really good metaphor for knowing all the things, right? This is how it went for me. I knew all the things. I had all the things. I was like, the mind knew I was managing to work this puppet to make everything happen. And it wasn't until, and I'll tell you the story of how I was introduced to cacao in a minute if you want. But it wasn't until I started working
Yeah,
with cacao that I got what actual embodiment was. So the work of cacao is to integrate the knowledge into the being. So I knew all the things, but it was not my experience. When I started working with cacao, I actually, instead of just knowing how to be confident, I experienced confidence. And I experienced everything in the way of confidence, of my not being confident. You know what I mean? Drop away.
Yes.
So it went from knowing to
Yes.
knowing is the best
Yeah.
way that I can say it. From information to wisdom,
Right.
from mind to heart. Like when it became real, basically. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm finding myself in situations where I would walk away and go, oh my God, I was just like naturally confident and I felt good, like I didn't have to, and it
Pretend.
was like a breath of fresh air. I shit you not. It was just like relief. Okay, this is what I've been looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it all in the bottom of a cup of chocolate.
And that's beautiful.
Go figure.
I was going to say, and there's your answer. It's in the bottom of it. I love that. I love that. But that is so true because then we get told too, well, fake it till you make it, right? Like just pretend to be it, right? And then we get really good at pretending that we even think we almost fool ourselves that we are. Well, no, of course you're confident. Well, then why am I shivering inside and shaking like a leaf? Or after I'm going, all the self-criticism that we do. So okay, so it is. It's so exhausting.
And the reason we can't get from the couch to the bed is because we've spent all of our energy trying to be something that we're just
pushing. Yeah. And
I
all the
can say
doing.
the same things in the day and I bounce off the walls at the end of the day now because there's none of that. Yeah, it's like being in the slipstream of life instead of fighting against it. It's a whole.
So I can hear the ladies out there going, okay, so how do I get into this group? How do I learn how to find peace and serenity at the bottom of my cup? Because we talk about filling your cup, right? I mean, that's a perfect analogy because we've made that analogy of, you have your cup full and you just keep giving to everyone and then you have nothing left in your cup, right? Your cup isn't full. So here we're talking about a cup of cacao. How do I come to guide it open and learn about Madre Cacao and how to embody this being instead of doing?
Thank you. You said that so well. Wow. There are a multitude of ways. Actually, there's a couple of things. So, well, we have a Facebook group that every day one of either me or one of my beautiful facilitators does what we refer to as a drop-in. So that's a meditation and an intention and an invocation, like a coming into communion with cacao. I mean, very simply, it's a meditation where you drink cacao at the end. And we do that in there because it's as simple as doing that to
Mhm.
change, to integrate your learnings, to release what doesn't serve you. So that is a beautiful place to start. We also have we post events in there as well. So at least once a month at the moment, we're running cacao ceremonies, and sometimes that includes different things like breath work or letting go processes, or I'm a singer and a sound bather. Sound bather,
Yes,
doesn't that sound cool?
I like
Um,
that.
so that happens. I will bathe you with my sound.
A little bubble bath.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I feel like I've got so many things to say. Yeah. I mean, this is about bringing you into your natural state of healing and letting the things that are not your natural state dissipate. So there's that. Very simple Facebook group. You'll do links and all the things, won't you, Dylan? Then we have an off Facebook and social media community where there's a bit more of, for me, it feels like just a safer container. You know, Facebook, you get interrupted and you're this way and that way, and there's ads and all the things. And as powerful as it is, and I don't want to diss it, it's nice to have a place where it's just the people who really want to be doing the work. That's still a free space. The Guided Open family. And yeah, there's just us and offerings, space holdings. My facilitators all offer a different thing on a monthly rotation, and then you can find all the different events that we hold, all providing the opportunity for you to experience. And then the most profound thing that I have on offer at the moment is what is called the Guided Open Intensive. And that really is a creation of my life's work. It's been a vulnerable piece of work to put together, and it's been running for over a year now. And that's a 7-week program that's made up of 14 safe held ceremonies that are really purpose driven and intentional to go all the way. Like they're so powerful, so potent. They really are about doing the deep dive. Like if you really want to, okay, yes, I'm at the point now where I've done all the things and I've had enough. I'm not playing anymore. I'm not willing to live with this, whatever this is anymore. That's what the intensive is for. It's like, put everything aside, get your ass in the ring. We're going to do it now. So,
All
yeah.
right. So, ladies, there's quite an array there. So, you want to just dip well, I don't know if you want to dip your toe in chocolate, but, some people might like that. But, yeah, if you want to experience what this is and to know the community, because, yes, as Kat said, she has all her facilitators there on rotation guiding these beautiful meditations. And if you can't make it live, that's the beautiful thing too. You can just watch that and sit there and experience what that is. Okay, so no cost there. And then there's these, you have the once a month, because I know you'll do it like a day, and then I've seen you do the weekend stuff with the breath work happens too, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. The best way to keep on top of what we do, because we are very feminine as a community and we feel into what feels right, and we follow the transits, and we're guided by a lot of human design these days. So I can't say every third
Yeah.
Sunday. You really just need to be in the community and you'll get the notifications. And yeah, and it
And there
works
you
beautifully.
go.
It always works with
Yeah.
divine timing.
I was going to say, and you know what? If you join the community, I'm sure it'll happen divinely timed that then something will pop up and it'll be, oh my gosh, that's the weekend that the kids are away with their dad or their, whatever it may be, that would open up for you. But one of the things I want to say here that I hear you saying, and I want the women to hear this and you to jump on board with this, is if we're going to have any me time, any time to drop in, and I love that expression, just dropping in, because I mean, dropping into our heart and dropping into that stillness that we don't really get to experience with all the doing and stuff around, but we have to schedule it. We have to make it a priority. Do you not agree?
I do agree. I am a big advocate for finding the small moments in between as well. Yes. I have definitely spent a lot of early mornings wanting my kids not to wake up as early as me, or one of my favorites is meditating in the car when I really should be watching a soccer game. Do some sneaky little tricks being the mum. But yeah, also whenever it is possible, like we overgive, and I don't mean that as like love, but like the fact that we think we have to be so busy, or that our kids have to be so busy, you know, just consciously dial it back if you can. And usually our ceremonies run, because we're obviously worldwide, we have they usually run early morning or late night, so like depending where you are in the world, I mean. So there's actually, and what we find is that there's this beautiful opportunity for people, for mamas and for dads too, to sneak up in the middle of the night and sneak a ceremony in and go back to bed. Or we have like, oh, happy night, the kids are awake. And so yeah, whatever you have to do, make yourself a priority. I just had this beautiful drop in over the weekend I have to share with you. It's just fitting in this moment. That is that we have to fan the flames of our own hearts first. If we want to grow the hearts of our young people, of our partners, of our lovers, of our communities, we have to fan the flames of our own hearts first.
I like that, yeah, because you can't expect everyone to come around your fire, and it's just like this little tiny, just ember, right? You've got to,
It's
I like that.
Honestly, when we put our attention, our intention, and our attention into cultivating ourselves, our own hearts, everything else falls into place, just like magic. I mean, it is magic. Magic's a real thing. And so I kind of feel like I've been leaning into just daring people, honestly. I just dare you, even for a couple of weeks, to really prioritize your own cultivation of your love for yourself, and watch how the third dimensional reality suddenly comes in to support you. All of a sudden, your partner's more loving. Your child's learned how to make a cup of tea for you. Like, it just magically happens. So yeah, that's real.
Yes, that is. And I'm going to jump on that because I remember, my mom was, just such the giver. And I remember one time her getting angry. Well, I just don't have time to do this. And I have this. And I remember I was in my teens at that point. And I just said, well, Mom, why don't you just ask me? Why don't you just ask me to do that? And you can go do that. Yeah. So I want to say that too, we think we have to do it all, and we have to learn how to delegate it and how to ask them for help too, because I had this conversation with one of the other speakers. We are always teaching by example. Whether you're making it a lesson, you are making a lesson, because that's what you're showing all the time. So when you show them that you can't ask for help, and that you're not going to take the time to relax and take a breath and do what you need, then you're teaching them that they can't do that for themselves either.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, once you start to teach them and say, no, you know what, I do. And I've had to do that with Jesse here. I know you know about stories with him too. And I'm like, no, right now I need a timeout. Like I definitely need a timeout. I have my thing on the door, and I'm like, please, unless somebody's on fire or they've passed out, it's like, don't knock, and I'll be out. And by my doing that enough times, and he would see when I'd get to that point and I do my breaths, I'm like, I need to do that. He would actually start calling me on it and go, you know what, Trace, maybe you need to go burn a leaf, because I'd burn sage. He's like, maybe you need to just go burn a leaf and have a meditation. And I'd look at him and I go, you know what, you're right. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
So here, thanks for giving me permission. So here it is, giving
Yeah.
yourself permission to do that. And by knowing, me showing I'm taking time for me is teaching my kids, for them to say, I am burnt out, or I am too tired from being online school and doing this and doing that, Mom. I need a timeout. And so you're teaching them. So I think
Yeah.
it's really profound, and we really need to look at that we're not doing them any favor, nor are we doing ourselves a favor by just running ourselves ragged and thinking we need to do everything. We also have to teach them how to do it for themselves, you know?
Yeah, that's a really big lesson, a really big like generational collective consciousness lesson, women's lesson. And yeah, and I totally agree. And I want to add to it what I have noticed of my own experience of this, and I have been working on all of these things for all of these years. I just feel to share that. So I have my daughter is just gone 18, and it is absolutely obvious that she has had me as a role model, not teaching her things. I often hear things from her and go, whoa, like, how do you know that? I haven't spoken to you about that. And it, the whole, like, they do what we do, not what we say. To have her stand in her truth and her power, and her, at the moment she's going through this real boundaries thing, like, do you know what, that's not a good friend, and so it's a no. And the powerfully, nothing less than a fuck yes is what's
Yeah.
going on in teenage land for her right now. Nothing less than
Nice.
a fuck yes. And it's powerful, and that's not something that you can preach or teach. That's She has only learned that because she's watched me do it.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm going to stand in that. Because it's surprising to me, and then it's like, whoa, oh yeah, no, I have to really receive that. That is my doing, but it is not my teaching. That is my
Right.
doing. And
Right.
you don't want to get to the kids being teenagers, and you all of a sudden having to teach them all these things, because it's not going to work. Like, it
No.
really, I mean, that's what's just present for me, is like, please do this work on yourselves, because it's going to make things easier for them, and so therefore for you when they get to their teens. Like,
Yeah.
poof. Yeah.
So powerful. Yeah. And I think about, going back to the surrender piece is really about, because I know I had that whole thing with what do you mean I'm giving up? No, but what you are giving up is you're giving up trying to control everything. Because the truth of the matter is you have no control over anything or anyone
Yeah.
except for yourself. And a lot of us don't even have that much,
Yeah.
because we've
And
never
that's
really
okay.
learned how to control ourselves and our emotions and our thoughts and whatnot. So, like you said, the work is the inner work. So, you want to see the difference out there. And we can sit there and look at all the problems in the world and go, there's no way I can fix any of that. And guess what? We're not here to fix any of that. We
Mhm.
aren't.
Yeah.
But if we all started just to take care of ourselves, to clean up our own stuff, to heal ourselves, to love ourselves, to take care of ourselves in every sense of the word, physical, mental, emotionally, spiritually, and really just concentrate on that, that is not selfish. That is the biggest gift you could give, not only yourself, is everyone who lives with you, and then everyone who works with you, and everyone who has to deal with you. And it's that reverberation, which I hope people will start to really hear those words that Gandhi said about being that change you want to see. It starts with us, and it's
Yeah.
an inside job.
Yeah. I would go so far as to say that it's the only work these days. Honestly, it's the only work. It's the only,
Yeah.
you want to change the world. You want to change your family. You want to change your community. You want to change the everything. you have to do this work. Like, this is all of that. Like, I
Yeah.
used to say it starts here, and now I'm just like, you know what? Like, your outside world is a reflection of this, and it's the only way forward. So yeah, really, I'm so passionate about that piece, just because of the truth that I have experienced through that now. Like, it's so embodied in my being that I heal the tiniest. If I see a little piece that's not quite my truth, and I'm playing with it, or a piece of shame, a piece of something I have to forgive myself for, something, I fix that here. It stops showing up. It doesn't exist in my world anymore. And if we all do that, that's the answer.
Yeah.
That is the answer. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. And that's a beautiful way to like kind of wrap it up, because it is dropping in. So I invite you to drop in to Kat's group, to her Facebook group, start there and see where it goes, where it takes you, because by just being in that Facebook group, you're going to get exposed to all those people, to all that. Just that's Renee. I know most of your facilitators, and I can just honestly say they've been through the training, that 7-week program. So if you work yourself to that and get to that point, and then you can hold the space for others. But let's learn, ladies, right now to hold the space for ourselves, for all that you give. Now's the time to give it back, because you can't keep giving without receiving. And I think that's one of the powerful lessons that cacao is about, just that open and allow and receive that she really gives.
We're always safe, and we cannot fall, and we're completely held and loved and infinite beings of light. And if we can keep coming back to that, the world does change. I do also want to just quickly mention that if anyone is sitting there and they are feeling, what is the word? I can feel it in my bones right now. Like there's something here for me. I need to do this, and I need to do it all the way. There is that opportunity of the intensive, and I'll get you, Tracy. I think you said you will already too. You're welcome to book a call with me if you're sitting there going,
Yes.
okay, I'm ready. If you're feeling ready, then I'm more than happy to get on a call with you and feel into that with you if you're ready to take that leap.
And I'll take it one step further, even if you're just curious, because you know what? I'm going to let you know, Kat is not here to pitch you, sell you, whatnot. She's just going to open it up, and it's just an open door policy, because by you being in her group, you're always welcome in her group. So you always have that. So know that too. If you're even just the slightest bit curious and want to know more, I do encourage you to give her a call, because she can just open you up to other possibilities and just help you maybe make, no, do this right now, and then see how it goes. And she's definitely that kind of person. So please, I encourage you to, follow that intuition, that little nudge, that little cry, that little like, there's something there. I don't know what it is, but just give a call. So
have the courage. Yes, I don't.
Yes, the courage. Yes.
Have the courage.
If you want something different, you got to do something different. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your story and your community and your work and just your message and all of that you've been through. So ladies, please just start with the Facebook group and allow yourself to take the time for you and to drop in with a cup of cacao and your breath and a beautiful community of people. So
thank you all. Look forward to seeing you there.
All right. Well, thank you, ladies. And if you need to take a little bathroom break, now would be a great time before you watch the next one. I hope you have set yourself a nice space, and we will continue on this little online retreat of giving yourself permission to choose you. Thank you, Kat.